What's your name?
Trevor Baker.
And where are you from?
Lincoln, Nebraska.
Can you give me a little bit of history on your racing?
All right, so in 2009, when me and my mom got back from Afghanistan, I want to try and continue the tradition of our family. And after the passing of our Uncle Kevin Snyder in 2007, I want to take a chance of that. And so I went to my cousin Jeremy Snyder about wanting to race, and he said he had the number 6 jet mod ever built, and he said he'd throw a motor together, we can go racing at the Oktoberfest race at the time it was at Beatrice. And I was like, all right. So I went and talked to my mom and my brother, and my brother at the time was racing with Mike Sherwood, and he said that we could borrow their motor. We had to throw different heads on it because it wasn't legal for the sport mod class. We did that deal, threw the motor in, went and raced that race at Oktoberfest. I mean, it was 10 years ago, I can't remember how we did, but I'm sure it was good enough because Jeremy was like, let's go racing a full season next year in 2010. And so we took that same car, went and raced in 2010, had a lot of fun. I remember there was one night at Beatrice where I hit the wall 3 different times in turn 3, and it knocked the whole back, like from here back, it came off the car. But it was a really fun season. And then in 2011, me and my brother got together racing because him and Mike had a split, or they just went their separate ways. And my brother wanted to keep racing, and so he came to me, and me and him went out to Eagle. And we were sitting down there. I remember we were sitting on the bleachers, and he looks over and he's like, "How bad do you want to race?" And I was like, "I'd do anything, keep racing," because Jeremy had something going on, and we couldn't keep racing there, and so I couldn't do it on my own. It's a family deal anyhow, the racing. And so he's like, all right, well, he said he wanted me to go out and buy a car. And so Trevor Crop, I don't know if you remember who that is, but he raced sport mods down there, and he had a car. And I got a $1,000 sponsorship from my buddy Keith, and I threw the rest of the money together, and it was, I can't remember how much we paid for that dang thing, but it was like, I don't know. Anyhow, went and bought that car. The funny thing is, when we went and found that car with Crop, and I went to a shop, I thought it'd be funny I got, like, I don't know, it was at least $2,000, but it was all in tens. It was my first car I ever bought, so I was like, why not? Anyhow, we got that car, and we raced in, this is kind of the bad deal, because that season, our first ever season out, kind of sucked, because I think we had 13 DNFs that year. Our first season out, we had 13 DNFs. Like, our first 13 starts, we didn't finish the race. It was crazy. But anyhow, so we got another car from my cousin Gary Laughlin. We got rid of that. We sold that thing. Got another car from my cousin Gary Laughlin because at that time, me and my brother were going to deploy to Afghanistan, and so we put a deposit down on jets. Like, I was going to buy a brand new car. This whole deal, and we were at Hastings. We were getting ready to do it's our pre-moke stuff, and we get there, and the commander tells us we're not leaving. And so I had sold my truck, got on my lease, my house, everybody done that deal. And so I had to figure out a way to get out. I went and told John, and he's like, well, I can't give you back your deposit. That's not how that deal goes. I'm like, well, this is our situation. He gave us back our half deposit. Then we took that car that Gary gave us and took it to John's, and he fixed it and spent some money there at least with him. But so anyways, we raced that car, and we raced that car all the way up until 2014. Actually in 2014, we moved up to the modified division. So we had to take that car and convert it. We had to put some brackets in the rear of it and whatnot. And but the special part about 2014 is that I was on the backside of my employment with Jet, and I learned how to do body work. And so my brother was in the fab stuff, and I could do the body work stuff and whatnot. And my brother had this idea about being a parts dealer at a racetrack, and so that's how BBR came about. At the time, it was Baker Boys Motorsports or something, and so my brother wanted to make it legitimate, so he wanted to go make it an LLC. So we went and did that deal, and we just called it Baker Boys Racing, and that's what it's been ever since. What we did in 2014, we would drive out to Lexington, Nebraska on Sundays, and so what that also entailed is that we raced 3 or 4 nights a weekend. So if at the time Columbus was racing every other week for Mons, and so we would race Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then we'd have to come back Lexington's 4.5 hours from here. So we'd go out there, do our parts deal, we'd race, and come back, and we did that for a whole season. And that was an exhausting season, but it was a lot of fun. You know, we did a lot of racing that year. I think we did something like 60 to 65 nights, which was pretty awesome. And then that car was just, we crashed it pretty bad at I-80 at the end of the year, and then that's why we got this car, because that black one was wrecked.
Can you tell me about that car?
Okay, so this blue car is a 2010 Impala Stubjet car. It's the last Lear that John ever built. And so we got it from our cousin Gary Laughlin. He raced it. The funny thing is that this car and my other car have raced against each other on the racetrack at one point in time. And so, but we got this, my cousin Gary Laughlin sold this car for $500 to James Hines and a buddy of ours. And James needed some body work done, but that other car needed a lot more work, and he didn't want to put the money into it. And so we just swapped, you know, hey, I'll rub your back, you rub mine, kind of deal. So we got the frame for this thing, and I did the work on James's car, and then we threw this thing together and bought as much of the nice stuff as we could put on it, and then had a really good season in 16. That was that year that we got, I think we got 8th that year in points, and then in 17 we had a really nasty wreck. I mean, the whole front of the car was washed over. I mean, it was terrible. We had to chop off the front clip and restub it ourselves, and finished that season out. It was we were off for like 6 or 7 weeks. That season was kind of a wash. And then over this last winter, my brother wanted to. So my uncle Kevin Steiner, he built everything, and Corey grew up with him, doing all, he learned everything he knows from Kevin. That's how we are. And so he's always wanted to build a car. And Corey finally decided that we were going to build a mod. We talked about it, and Jeremy still's got our cousin Jeremy Steiner, he still's got the first jet mod jig, like that 96 car I was telling you about. That car was built on that jig that's out there. And so Jeremy gave it to us, and Corey's like, let's build a car. I'm like, all right, that sounds awesome. And and so we were starting to build the mod. We had to prep the stub and whatnot, and we just got into the deal, and we're like, man, we've never done it before, so we're just kind of shooting in the dark. And he's like, it would be really cool if we just built our Uncle Kevin's 84 Chevelle that he had. He had a really good year that year, and it was a 68 Chevelle. I mean, it's freaking cool. And so we decided that building a stock car would be a good starting point, because you have a full frame to work on. It's a lot easier to build off of. And so we found a frame, got some body pieces, body panels and whatnot to go with it, and just built it from ground up. I mean, we didn't have nothing to go off. I mean, we had, some ideas here and there, but it just pure inspiration.
Okay, what are your goals for this year?
I'd really like to see us finish we're 8th in points right now at Eagle. I'd really like to see us somewhere at least 8th, if not better. I mean, that track is so dang tough.
Well, while we're talking about it, Eagle's your main track, right?
Yeah, on Saturdays.
Tell me about that.
So Saturdays at Eagle, we were racing, in 14 I told you we raced 3-4 nights a week and blah, blah, blah. And after moving up to the modified division, we really got to our budget's so tight, and we got great launchers and whatnot, but we're not nothing huge. So we got to spend our money in the most proficient way that we can. And after building that stock car, we're a 2-night race team before that deal. And so we just committed Friday nights to the stock car. And so me and my brother were thinking about where we're going to race on Saturdays. And our obvious choice is Eagle, for the one main fact that it would pay $150 to start the show in the mods, which is just uncommon. It's not uncommon, but it's just nobody around here does that deal. So it's like, that's where we're going to go. It's Saturdays is at JMS, and then we're at Thunder Hill down in Kansas. We're not going to drive all the way down to Thunder Hill. Maybe we would if they paid better than Eagle did, but yeah, so Eagle's close. That track is really made. It really is more towards an open motor track, which is what we are. We're an open motor, not a crate motor. And that's what's so tough about this modified division, is that they have that crate motor option. And just the way our budget works and everything else is just the open motor is just our way to go. And so Eagle's our obvious choice to race on Saturdays. And we've had really good success there. That's where we've had probably a handful of seconds and a whole bunch of top fours at Eagle on the mod, and then that year in 16. And so yeah, it just made sense for me and Corey to just go race on Saturdays at Eagle. It's just where we have the most fun. I mean, I know the tracks can be a pain in the ass sometimes, but it don't mean it's not fun either.
Okay, I watched one of your videos, and you kind of talked about some racing issues, and I wanted you to briefly talk about some of those things.
Okay, so what guys do anymore, and I'm probably guilty of it too, but you get wiser as you get older. But guys are just really bad about just talking a lot of crap about racetracks, and not a lot of us out here. The 90%, not the 1%, percentile or whatever, but 90% of us are racing just blue collar racers. We race just because it's a hobby and it's fun. Well, you see it anymore these last couple of years. Racetracks been shutting down, and it don't do us no good going on social media and just talking crap about the race promoters and how bad they're doing or this, that, and the other thing. I mean, talk about that with your buddies in the garage. Don't be doing that on social media where everybody and their mom can see it, and it just don't do us no good. Trying to keep this deal going. I mean, I know a lot of people talk about this might be a dying sport, but you might slow the bleeding down if you quit talking trash on Facebook.
Okay, could you give me a little bit of a shout out to your crew?
Okay, so the perfect part about this whole deal is my brother has zero desire to drive a race car. None. He lives vicariously through me while I'm on the racetrack, which is a perfect combination because I love the drive and all that stuff, and he loves to set the race car or work on it or whatever else. So it works out perfect. And so my nephew Ben, his boy, he comes out and helps a lot. He's a huge help. And then I'll have friends here and there come out and help. But during the week, mainly it's me and my brother out here in the shop, just working on this thing and maintaining it and doing the best we can to try new things here and there and learn about it and whatnot. And but my as far as sponsors go, I got to thank his wife Rose for letting him race so much. Me race a lot, he's been racing for Mike. It's probably been at least 15 years. He's been racing total between Mike and myself. And in the years he raced, he didn't really race with Kevin, but he was there. Not like what he did with me and Mike. But yeah, huge thanks to Rose, our cousin Jeremy Snyder. You can't see it. It's not right on the side, but. Jeremy's the one that painted that car, the Chevelle, and he'll throw down some money here and there. Our mom, she throws so much money at this thing, it's crazy. That's really, as far as our sponsors go, that's really all there is. It's straight up just it's not that we wouldn't love to have other sponsors come off that, weren't part of the family, but that's really just our race program's 100% of our family,
Okay, to finish this off, what would you say to your fans or those who haven't been into racing that could be more involved?
More involved, yeah. I think, to be honest, and that's the other neat thing about Eagle Raceway, is that they're one of the, tracks do fan appreciation night or things of that nature, but Eagle does a deal where their courtyard, they'll let racers come up there with their race cars, and you can park and they'll let the fans come down and you can mingle with the fans and they can come take pictures or whatever else and get that before the races. It's like what, I don't want to say like what NASCAR does, but how the fans can go down before the races start and go in the pits and intermingle with the drivers. It's kind of the same deal. And that's, if you really want to get in the racing and have a really personal experience with the racing community, I think Eagle's a really good place to go for that situation. But if you're trying to get into racing, just go to a dirt track and just go watch. And just, it's way better than going to a bar on a Friday night or Saturday night even. It's fast, it's loud. You can drink alcohol till you can't drink no more. Nobody's gonna yell at you and kick you out. Unless you're belligerent, obviously. It's just a really, really good time. So, I don't know. Just show up. It's worth it.